So, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know most of you guys joined this channel or clicked on this video because of the title. So, before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. Also, hit the notification bell to be notified every time I decide to put out a crazy video for you guys. On today's video, I am going to talk about, give you a story time about the time I decided to sneak a boy into my room and thought I was going to get away with it, but lo and behold, I didn't. So just a little backstory. If you guys don't know, I'm going to tell you guys this when I used to talk to boys, I guess you could say. So, so I just started high school. I was probably in the 9th grade, because I just started. So, I started talking to this boy, and I'm not going to give his real name, and I'm just going to say we didn't start, it wasn't like talking as in getting into a relationship or on a, romantic type talking. It was more of friends. Let's get to know each other. Let's hang out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay. So before I get to the part to where I thought I was gonna get away with it, in the summertime, if you guys didn't know, my birthday is July the 5th, right after the 4th of July. And I did put out a story time about that. So if you miss any of my story times, I will link that playlist below, okay? So, around my birthday, maybe even before then, I want to say probably 6th grade. This is when I very first started talking to Trey, which is not his real name or his street name. It's just a name I came up with. Me and Trey, we are cool now. I wouldn't say we are best of friends, but we are friends. At the time, I really didn't have time to talk to anyone and be in a relationship because I was in so many activities. When we started out, I was in the 6th grade and I was in band. And I had volleyball tryouts. Cause in 7th grade, that's when I really started playing volleyball. So, moving along. I want to say when I went to 7th grade is when me and Trey actually started hanging out more. We'd go to each other's houses. His dad was my dad's best friend because they went to college together. Blah blah blah. So I want to say 7th grade going into 8th grade, we stopped talking because he moved to a different state. So it's like the communication ceased, non-existence. I say probably every other month it'll be, hey, how you doing? We haven't spoke to each other in a while. Why we don't speak to each other? Blah blah blah. We're gonna make it better, but it never got better. It got worse. So I want to say 8th grade going into 9th grade. Probably almost 3 or 4 months before 8th grade was over, he came back to Mississippi. So, I guess you could say we picked up where we left off. We never left each other. So, yeah. So by this time I had a best friend. Let's just call her L. Me and L We started hanging out around each other when I was in seventh grade, and we've been tight ever since, right? And I used to tell Elle everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Me and Elle was around each other so much that, yeah, it was crazy. Like we were sisters. So one day, um, Trey came up to me and he asked me, um, can we hang out? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I was telling Elle how happy I was. He was back. He wanna hang out. We just gonna catch up like old times, right? So I thought. So it never happened. Like I was in the eighth grade, waiting on something to happen, and it never happened. It's like when he came back from wherever he was at. I'm not gonna put where he was at because that's too much information. Because his family still lived there. So when he came back from another state, it's like he was the same, but he wasn't. Like we'll chill at school or something, but it's always I got to go. Um, Even when we had after school activities, I can't stay long. My mom's coming to get me, all this kind of stuff. So it was kind of weird because it's like before he left the States, it's like we used to spend every waking moment with each other. Or it's like when we did have to go to different houses, it's like he'll still call, still, have communication. But when he came back from the state that he was in, it's like the communication was okay when we was in person, but like when we was over the phone or something like that, it sucks. So I just let it go, right? So all of eighth grade, well, the rest of eighth grade, I just let it go. Then the summer came. About this time the summer came, it was back to July. Um, because this is when we have the little junior high school graduation stuff, blah blah blah. Um, so eighth grade was over, and we was getting ready to go into summer vacation. Now, summer vacation, me and sometimes my family, we usually go to Chicago just to chill, just to relax, don't think about stuff, just to be with our other family members. So, my birthday came and I'm like, I really don't want to go to Chicago, but I do want to go somewhere that I could be by water. If you don't know, cancers love water. If you ever want to see a cancer happy, take them by the water, and I promise you, you won't have no more problems out of it. That's just how I am. Even when I was younger, um, I used to have a side story. When I was younger, my mom and them had to like always keep like a pool or something, and that's how they kept me quiet. Maybe I told you guys this story time. I'm gonna go back and check and see. But anyways, um, so back to the story. So I had this little kickback thing at a whole different state, at a little, I guess you could say an Airbnb at the time. But it was like a extra vacation house that my dad friend had. So he kind of told us that we can use it. So I had like a little kickback. I invited everybody, and it was fun, right? And at this time, I did invite Trey and all of everybody else from school, but I noticed Trey never showed up. So I'm like, okay. So I texted him like, you said you was coming. What happened? Blah blah blah. And he said he couldn't make it. And I'm thinking to myself, it's the gratitude. Like, it's not the, that's not the word I want to use, but at least you could have called and told somebody. So, I let it go. I didn't talk to him no more. Um, so the summer came and went. And, August, August came, we had to go back to school. Um, and by then I was in the ninth grade, right? So, me and Trey, we had probably 2 classes together, right? So we just sitting there chilling. Now, mind you guys, when I was in high school, well, in grade school period, I always found it easier for me to learn. Cause you have most people that think they learn the most or circle the most knowledge when they sit in the front of the classroom. Nope, not me. In math class, I sit way in the back because I hate math. And then like my other classes, I sit directly in the middle, right? But now that I attend college, I sit in the front. But anyways, that's beside the point. I was sitting in class doing my homework and well work, and then um one of my classmates passed me a note, and I'm looking at this classmate like, why? I mean, like it was crazy. Um, and there was the time where you folded, ooh, and I wish I could do that, and I probably still could, but you fold the letter up like an envelope, and I wonder if I still can do that. I'm gonna try. So if I do try it, I'm gonna add it to the end of this video. But anyways, I open up the letter and it says, "Can we hang out later on after school?" And it didn't have a name on it, so I'm thinking, who will write me this? Because at the time, I wasn't talking to Trey. We had classes together, but it's like a hey, how you doing situation, and that's it. Like nothing more. Um, so I just let it go. I never wrote back or anything. So when class was over, I threw the note away because it didn't have a name on it. And I'm not finna play um, Sherlock and see who wrote me the letter. I'm not doing it. So I want to say probably a month in ninth grade, a month into ninth grade, um, that when Trey texted me and he said, "Since you didn't reply to my note, can we have lunch together?" And I'm like, um, sure, why not? And honestly, I still text like that to this day. Sure, why not? Like, that's my answer. So we had lunch or whatever, and at the time, L and my other friend is didn't come to school. So I'm like, okay, they didn't come to school today, so I might as well. So we were sitting down having lunch, and then he was bringing up the conversation that we need to hang out Friday. Now, mind you guys, Friday came. On Fridays, I still had to stay out of school because I had volleyball, and then I had debate, and then I was in the band, um, and all of that stuff. And honestly, when I hit high school, I didn't leave school Monday through Friday. Sometime, no, Monday through Friday, it was like from probably between 5 and 7:30. And then when it came to Saturdays, I didn't leave school to probably 1 or 2. Um, and that's if we didn't have a game that Saturday morning. So, move the story along. I'm like, if we do hang out on Friday, I have to cancel like debate or something because at the time I was so focused on school to where my dad, well, I'm not even gonna say my dad, I'm gonna say my mom gave me like a curfew. Now, mind you guys, I was a wild girl. Like, forget a curfew, it didn't matter to me. So, I'm gonna skip some stuff because I don't want this video to be long. But, I'm like, okay, sure, we can hang out, but it had to be before 8 because I got to be back home at 11, right? And mind you guys, on the weekends, I really didn't have a curfew. But I still made it in my mind. Oh, they said come home before the sun come up. Like, that was always my answer. Girl, what's your curfew? Oh, I gotta be home before the sun come up. So, so he was like, okay, I have to work, but I get off at 5. Listen, he said he have to work, but he get off at 5. So I'm thinking like, you don't get, okay, you must don't work them many hours, because from 11 to 5 or from 11:45 to 5 is really not that long. So move it along, move it along. Um, I want to say, it was a Wednesday. He never talked about hanging out Friday ever again. So I was asking my friends, I'm like, hey, do you think I should bring it up to see, like, do he still want to hang out or just leave it alone? And Elle said, just leave it alone. Let him bring it up. Okay, I left it alone. I didn't say nothing. Okay, Thursday morning came. He hit me up and he said, hey, we still on for Friday. I'm like, sure. So then, mind you guys, I still have to tell my debate teacher that I'm gonna have to cancel because I had to make up a lie, right? So move it along. Friday finally made it, and for some reason, I was kind of super happy because we never just kicked it outside of the school ever since he came back from the other state. So it was kind of like a good time to kick it with my friend because I haven't seen him in a minute, right? So Friday came. Um, he didn't come to school. He didn't hit me up through text messages. He didn't call or none of that. So I didn't worry about it. I was like, okay, maybe he changed his mind, whatever. And you got to think about it. Like, I'm used to him disappearing, like stop texting, like ghosting me, as we say today. So it's like it's normal. I'm not worried about it. So I was just mad because I canceled like something that was important to me to accommodate him. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was mad. So Saturday came, he called me early. I mean, it was like 6:30 Saturday morning. I think it was even earlier than that because the sun wasn't even up. And I thought it was still night, but then I didn't answer the phone. So then he just kept calling, kept calling. I didn't answer the phone. So I want to say it was about 8:30, pushing on 9:30. That's when I decided to answer the phone. And he said, I was calling you all night. I wanted to see did you still want to hang out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you didn't call me none. The only time you called me was like earlier this morning. And by this time, I'm in the bed. So he was like, okay, man, just forget it. I was like, okay, forget it, click. So, the day went on. I want to say around about 3, maybe a little later than 3, but it wasn't later than 5, if that makes sense. So he texted me. He said, "I'm sorry for what I did for standing you up, but I really want to come and hang out with you tonight." So I'm thinking like, okay, I got to have dinner with my family and my godparents. So I want to say you still come around about 7:30 because I'm pretty sure they'll be gone. And then my godparents will be gone because at the time they had to go pick up somebody. So anyway, I'm like, okay, cool. So then 7:30 came, nothing. 8:30 came, nothing. 10 o'clock came, I'm on my way. I'm like, whoa, buddy, what happened at 7:30? Oh, I had to work, blah blah blah. We had a meeting at our job. You had to work or you had a meeting, pick one. So, but I soon found out that he had another appointment before to come to see me, and I'm gonna tell you, um, I'm gonna ask him, can I tell that story? But yeah, let's just say he had another appointment before he came to meet me. So I was like, look, you really pushing the time, like you really pushing it back and back and back. So this is when my dad was sick then. When I say sick, he had a little light flu or whatever. Um, and I'm like, okay, you can come, but you have to be quiet because my parents were sick. And then when you do come, and I used to do this all the time, even when I used to sneak out the door and go to clubs that I wasn't supposed to be at. And I did tell a story time about that club that I got shot at. And so yeah, if you didn't hear that, make sure you check out my playlist because I did tell a story about that. But when I used to go to the club, I used to tell people cut off your headlights and park by the mailbox. And then that's what we used to do. But it's like the road that I stay on now is like U-shaped, so you can come in one way and go out the other way. You don't have to like bag up and all that stuff. So, but either way, you still gonna get to the main highway, and to me, they both the same length, so it really don't matter. So, I was telling him the plan. When you come, you park below the hill because when you come up in our driveway, it's like a big tall hill, and then that would make it easier to get to the house or whatever. So, when I want to hide people, from coming in the house, because at the time we didn't have a dog, or did we? I don't think we did. But I always told him, if you're going to come to the house, well, I told him that night, when you come to the house, cut your headlights off, and then just park below the hill, and then I'm going to be waiting on you outside. So I could prep him to come in the house, right? So I thought. So I was walking to my parents' door trying to listen, like, okay, is they sleep? Because my dad, when he's sick, he snore, and it's like he whistling like he a train. So I'm just listening, and they snoring, they knocked out, like they went to bed early. So I'm like, okay, we in the clear. But then I had went to my brother's room, and he's wide open, like he on the phone talking to one of his females at the time. So I'm like, my brother, he said, what is you doing? And I was like, I got a friend coming over. He's already outside. If daddy come to the door, can you call me? And he was like, man, yeah, I got you, right? Now keep this in mind. Man, I got you. And I already told him what it was, right? Keep that in mind because it's going to come into play. So, um, he was like, man, I got you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I sneak out the door, right? And it's like a window and then you have like the storm door. And our storm door needs like some double D40. Now it does, but back then it still made a loud pop noise when you open it like it's unlocking. Because if somebody tried to like walk into our house, they're gonna have to go through hell to get through that door. So it made a loud pop, and my brother rushing out. What you do? What you do? I'm like, it's just the door. And he said, I could have sworn I heard daddy get up. So I'm like, no, he didn't. He probably just rolled over. So I thought, right? So I go out there and get my friend. We walking back in the house. And then he greet my brother and all that stuff. They start talking and blah, blah, blah. And I asked him, like, I was so polite at the time. Like, now I don't really get no fuck. I asked him, hey, you want something to eat? You want something to drink? Because we did have some leftovers. He said, no, he cool. So we get in the room, right? And at the time I had like a small TV. So I had turned my TV on. Because I usually fall asleep with the TV playing and then I get up in the middle of the night and turn it off. So I'm just listening. We just vibing to whatever movie was on. Then I hear something creep, like they was looking into my room, but I don't know. Like it was weird. it kind of spooked me a little bit. And at first, I'm like, oh, that's just my brother. So I thought, right? So then my dad gets up. So I'm thinking it's like his first time getting up, but it wasn't. He was sneaking, looking in my room all the time. So maybe when my brother said he heard somebody move, maybe he was already up. So my dad goes to the restroom, and I'm thinking like it's my brother, and everything's gonna be cool with him. So when my dad goes in the restroom, my brother come knocking on the door, and he said, "Hey, Dada up, you might want to leave, buddy." So then I think to myself like, what the fuck is he doing up? So then I said, you can't go out the window because at the time I had bars on my window. And I still have bars on this window, but not this window. Yes, I got two windows. But the thing about it is, this window, when you like open it up, it make a loud scream noise. But then when you let it down, it's like you have to slam it down so it can close all the way. It was a trap, okay? It was the trap back in the day. So I'm like, look, you can't go out my window. You can't go out the front door right now. So what I'm going to do, let's get in this closet. If you guys don't see, I'm talking about this closet right here. And mind you guys, this closet did not have this much open space in it. It's just the fact that I got rid of a lot of clothes and a lot of my clothes not hung up right now because I'm still going through them. But, um, yeah, it's this closet. So, so he like, dude, I'm not getting in your closet. I'd rather get under the bed than in the closet. I said, I'd rather for you to get in the closet instead of under my bed. So we was going back and forth about this shit. So I'm like, I don't have time for this. Either you get your ass in the closet or you gonna get caught. So he got in that closet so fast. So then, and I'm just sitting here nervous, but I get back up under the cover because I'm like, okay, if my dad do come in here, I'm watching TV and he won't say too much, right? So I thought. So my dad had got him a cup of water, came in my room and cut on the light. And that is the light when it was working. That light don't work anymore because the landlord refused to fix it for some reason. That's a different story. So he came in here, popped the light on. Now mind you guys, at the time this closet stayed closed, so it wasn't nothing out of place. So he came here just sipping on his water, just sipping. He said, so how your night going? And I'm looking like, it's cool, I think. I'm just watching TV. So he said, so who you was talking to? And I'm like, when? And he said, just a few minutes ago. I said, oh, I was on the phone. And he said, no, I could have sworn I heard two voices. And I was like, nah, I just had that person on speakerphone. And he said, no, it sounded so real. So I just kept with the lie, and I should have told the truth. So so now my dad, he goes in his room and he put on like street clothes. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then he takes the cup he was drinking out of and puts it in the kitchen. He comes back to my room. Now at the time, Trey was peeking his little damn head out the closet. And I'm telling him, just close the door. So he closes the door, right? Now mind you guys, at this time I was nervous than a motherfucker because I have a boy in my closet. My dad is gonna murder me. Come and help me. So moving along. Um I I'm just sitting here thinking to myself like this gonna be the end of it. I'm finna die. So then My dad comes back in the room and he says, so it was like just two people in here just a few minutes ago. And so where did that dude go? And I'm looking like, what dude? Like, you sure you weren't dreaming? That's the second lie. And then he said, no, I heard the dude. And I probably know who it is because his voice sounds familiar. I'm looking around like, Dad, the medicine got you going crazy. I don't accuse this man of lying, and I did call him crazy. So then that made him mad, like Superman. He got madder, madder, and madder. And then I'm just sitting here like, bruh, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. So then my dad went in his room, and I could hear the closet door opening. And I'm like, he can't get the, he can't be getting, I hope he's not getting what I think he's getting out the closet. Let's just say my dad is the type of man who shoots and asks questions later, okay? Um, let's just say he a real alpha male, okay? So, goes on, goes on. Um, my brother ran down the hallway. He said, if that dude is still in the house, you better get him out of here because daddy finna take care of him. And I already knew what that meant. You ain't gotta tell me twice. He finna take care of him, so am I. So I just kept telling him, you can't go out the window, you can't go out the window. He said, fuck that shit. So he lifted the window and he jumped out the window. And I'm thinking somehow his shoelace got stuck. I'm not sure. And when he jumped out the window, it's like he went like face first on the ground. And he like, oh shit. And then he went around the corner of the house, because the corner of the house is like probably 3 or 4 inches away from this window. I always remember it's a window right here and a window right there. So my daddy come back and he checks the closet. And he said, you sure nobody been in here? So I'm like, no, no one's been here. Then he checks under the bed. Then he said, are you sure? Because it's a boy jacket in your closet. And I'm like, this nigga here. So I'm like, nah, I got that from somebody at school and I just haven't returned it yet. Lying again. That's the third lie. So then at this time he was getting madder and madder and madder. And this time he said, he went into my mama, he said, either you talk to your daughter or I'm going on so he can take his ass back to sleep. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not doing anything. So moving along. My brother run down the hallway and said, yeah, she had a dude in here. I ain't know nothing about it until I seen him running around the corner of the house. I'm looking like, that's how you have somebody back? That's how you got somebody? Girl, it was a bunch of crap. So my dad came back in here. So you gonna have a nigga in my house while I pay the bill? And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, I'm finna die. And he said, I know that's Trey. Give me his number. What's his number? And I'm just looking like, Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the fourth lie. And he said, I'm tired of you lying. I'm tired of you lying. So he raised his hand. And for some reason, I don't know what had me in my mind that he was finna hit me. But when he raised his hand, I went just like this. And he said, what you flinching for? Who been beating your ass? And it was so funny because he sounded just like the Smurfs because he was sick. And I just couldn't take him serious. And then he said, your mama gonna deal with you. And whatever she say, it gonna go. So, and then my brother gonna tell my daddy he jumped out the window, and then my daddy gonna say, "What the fuck you telling me for? You the one let him get away. You should have caught his motherfucking ass." I'm like, bro, really? It ain't even that serious. Like the way they was acting, you could have sworn the dude been living with us a couple of days without them knowing. We could have been in here fucking without them knowing. Like it was a lot. So then I'm like, it's over with. Ain't nobody been in my room. Why he don't believe me? Blah blah blah. That's the fifth lie. And I'm saying all this to my mama, and she just looking at me. Be honest, it was somebody in that room with it because I can smell it. I'm like, Mama, smell what? I can smell the cologne. It was somebody in here, wasn't it? And I just broke down. I was like, yeah. I had to tell the truth because for one, he left his coat. For two, he left a bag of clothes. Like, nigga, what you thought you won't spend a night? And it was just crazy. And then he left the scent, like, I'm saying he left the scent like he could come and get it. But yeah, he left the scent of the cologne. It was a lot. But anyways, I got grounded and then I got a whooping. But I wouldn't call it a whooping per se because it was two switches, well really three that was braided together and had black gorilla tape on it. So yeah, it felt like a bee and it hurt like hell. And I couldn't play volleyball, which made me cry. And then the only thing I could do is play in band. That's it. I couldn't stay after school no longer. I couldn't go out on the weekends. All of this happened, and it was like 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, that's when I told him what happened. Because after this, it was like we spent time together, like during school, but it wasn't like a conversation about that night. So yeah, it was a lot that happened. Um, like I said, me and Trey, we are still cool to this day. Um, did I sneak another boy in my house? No. Did I sneak outside? Yeah. Did I sneak through the window? No. I went straight through that front door. Um, yeah. But that's story time of how I thought I was gonna sneak a boy in the house and get away with it, but I didn't. I got caught. So if you guys enjoyed that story time, let me know below. If you guys want to see more story times like that or hear more story times like that, let me know in the comment section below. Any story times that you guys missed that was past, it will be in the description box in their own playlist. So yeah, just make sure you always read the description box because I always do giveaways and everything that I don't talk about in my video. But always remember, self-love is the best love. Love yourself first because that's more important. And just enjoy your day, okay? Or your night, or, enjoy your family to the fullest. But anyways, I'm about to end this video. I hope you guys have a great night, a great day whenever you're watching this. And I will for sure see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.